It's Tool time.
It is Tool time. We have the Tool update. Tool.
And that started years ago when one of our earlier versions of a live show where it was just a joke like, oh, what's going on with the Tool album? Oh, nothing. Check in next week for the Tool album. And then next week, oh, nothing. But we actually have a release date and the first song.
Fear Inoculum.
Which I don't care for the beginning of the song, but the rest of the song is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot like their other music, not surprisingly. But I mean, some bands do change their sound dramatically. I mean, listen to the Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah.
The range that they had, some bands like Slipknot used to make pretty cool music, and they went to whatever garbage they made later.
Well, some bands also they'll put in, I don't know, the radio friendly single in there, and that's what'll take off. So they're like, all right,
yeah.
Well, if this sells, then let's go more this direction. Like, if you guys ever listen to Mudvayne, "World So Cold" was a big single for them. So they're like, all right, we'll go with a little bit more like "World So Cold," and Slipknot went with kind of like more Wait and Bleed-ish style songs, which I never really liked Wait and Bleed off the first album. I mean, yeah, it was a fine song, but like, so some bands are like, all right, well, if this is what's, and Korn did it too. What was their big single, like "Falling Away From Me" or "Got the Life," and like a lot of people respond to "Got the Life," and so they're all right. Well, like, we'll do songs more like that, and then like fans respond to it, and so
or at least the fan base kind of moves. Like, they'll lose a bunch. Some fans will just stay there, and then new fans will come up. Like, I never really listened to not Mushroom Head, Gorillaz until Demon Days, and I don't know how fans previous to that felt about it, but it's the only album that I've heard of theirs that I like a lot. The rest of it is I just don't like it as much.
Demon Days is more solid than the previous album. It's at least in my opinion. It's
Thanks, Paul. Oops.
I forget what it 2000. Whatever the first Gorillaz album was with Clint Eastwood. I'm with you. I think Demon Days was a more consistent album sound wise.
I don't know if it was more commercial or what, but I like it a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw Slipknot when they were opening for Slipknot was
Machine Head. We saw them open for Machine Head, and
I think we were actually one of the people. It probably always happens, but usually we go to a concert for the headliner and whoever is opening for them. Okay, that's cool too.
Yeah.
We actually went to a show for the opening act.
Yeah.
And then a few months later,
four
or 5 months later, they were the headliner. Just like, wow, that's a crazy turnaround from going from just an opening act to the headliner with Cold Chamber.
Yeah.
Which is also a huge name. So, like, if Cold Chamber's opening for them, like, that was a quick rise.
Yeah. Like, that first album blew up. And, funny story, I went to Ozfest in, it was either 98 or 99. And so I just wanted to go to Ozfest. I was like, all right, cool, Ozfest. I got to see Slipknot's very first live show on this like little tiny side stage.
Or the first tour.
No, it was their first live show. So it was their.
I'm sure that they had live shows in Iowa.
Possibly, but like, whenever you look up this particular show, It says Slipknot first live show, Ozfest like '99 or whatever it is. Mm. You even hear me shouting, "Yeah!" Sometimes, and I don't think I appear on camera, but I had green hair. It was this little tiny side stage, like this. I think it had like a straw hut like roof. It wasn't the main stage of Ozfest.
I think when we went to see Roger Waters, we walked past it.
Yes, and I was like, yeah, Slipknot was right over there. And you're like, that tiny little thing?
Yeah, 9 guys.
Yeah.
With their instruments.
Yeah. It was, they weren't the first act. It was like 4 in the afternoon. Like Slipknot like had this big blow up, like right around 99, 2000, where they were opening act. And, you know, like more and more people like were coming for Slipknot and cheering on Slipknot, and then they became the headliner like toward the end of that year. I remember we went to Spirit Halloween and we bought some we bought some Michael Myers jumpsuits, and we dyed them gray.
Yeah, I forget what we tried to dye them, but
I think it was black. It was black and gray.
And then we got masks.
Mm-hmm, yeah, and so it was pretty much you and me and one other big Slipknot fan.
Yeah. And
then like we saw them a few months later, and all of a sudden everybody had jumpsuits and masks.
Yeah, was it? I guess it was the first time when they were the opening act.
Yeah.
They came out, and there were a few people with masks, but like maybe 2 or 3 others at most.
Yeah.
And we were pretty much straight in front of the crowd. It was as packed as a crowd can get packed.
Oh yeah.
Like if I wanted to get from like over here to where Brian is, that would take like a half a minute.
Yeah. And it was all those bodies. It was very hot. It was like painful hot. It was like being in a sauna, like not quite as intense.
That bad, but yeah. But the problem is it couldn't get anywhere.
No.
So when the band walked out, Sean at the time was named Sean. It was called
Clown.
Sean. No, it was named Sean.
Okay.
Later called Clown, but
okay.
But at that time he was still referring to him as Sean. He came out, and I was pretty much right. I tried to pick a mask that would fit in among the other masks in the band, but not specifically any one mask. I couldn't find anything, but I came up with this crazy psycho clown mask. And
yeah.
Like, well, it does lean towards the one person in the band, but it also was very fitting because it was very demented.
Yeah.
They come walking out. He points right to me in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, and the reason I say it was super packed, later on in the show, he walks off to the side of the stage and with a almost full bottle of water, and points to me to like give me the water.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh man, if I'm hot up here, it must be hot, and I was getting a little dehydrated, and I felt really badly because it took me 2 or 3 minutes to walk over to the side of the stage to get the bottle because I was trying my best, but I could not make it through that crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, well, I got to go back to playing.
Yeah,
so he handed it to security guard, one of the security officers on stage, or probably somebody who worked for the venue, and was like, give him to that guy. And I finally made it up to him, and like people were like reaching for the bottle, and he was like, that guy.
Yeah,
no, that guy.
Yeah.
And then he handed it to me. And like that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then was it the first show? I think it was the first show. We saw 1 or 2 of them, and after the show.
Yeah.
And he saw my mask, and what was it? Joey, the guitar player.
I think it was Joey came out. I think who was the lead guitar player? Not Mick, the other guy.
I don't remember.
Jim Root.
James Root.
and I think Sean was out.
I don't think we saw Sean.
Maybe that was the next show.
Yeah, because I didn't. I had the mask the first time. I thought I would have the mask the second time. I don't remember seeing Sean ever. But yeah, I was holding the mask, and you heard him say something. I didn't hear him. He looked at the mask, and what did he say?
I forget. Do you remember?
It was like, man, that's demented, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I kind of remember you holding it up, and I don't remember what he said. But he looked at the mask. He's like, oh man, which is like, it's an honor.
Yeah, it's like, wow, even they think that's extreme. I guess I did well.
Yeah.
And then like I think we might have tried to dye it black. If you've ever tried to dye fabric black, like I've never made it work. I don't understand. It just every time, like I put like 2 or 3 times the amount of recommended dye and it still doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then we ironed on like the barcodes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
You did very well. I mean, it didn't come out quite to the color you wanted, but like it worked for me. Fenella Brady's got a few comments. She said, "Lol, Dave and Brian predict Killer Clowns. Dave and Brian predict 2 album. What's next?" And then
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
We have to go back to our secret place and we can't give away our secrets.
Yeah. And then she says, the best song from the first album is Eyeless. Tend to agree. Also, all Korn albums after Follow the Leader are trash. Definitely agree.
I never liked Korn. I tried.
Yeah.
Like I think I bought one of their albums, and like you were like Mr. Korn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just don't like it.
Yeah. I think you bought Follow the Leader.
Yeah, but I listened to no, I think it was Follow the Leader.
You listened to Life is Peachy?
No, I think it was a later song. It was right around when it was just like about at the same time as one of the Beastie Boys albums.
Hello Nasty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever came out like the same time as Hello Nasty, or right around that same time, was when I bought the Korn album. I was like, I'm really gonna try to like this band. I'm like, I just still can't. Like the slappy bass was kind of cool, but then it kind of got old.
Yeah. But it's fine. Like we all have differences of opinion and taste in music. So, I remember Follow the Leader. I bought issues. And I was like, you know what? This isn't quite the same thing. Some songs on Issues are good. I like some of the songs on it, but like Issues as a whole album, I was kind of disappointed. And that was around the time I was reading a lot of like metal magazines. Like I would read.
If you left the metal magazine outside, does it get rusty?
Yes, it did. I forget what I was reading, but like I was reading like the notes section or the letter section, and this is, and it kind of sounds silly, but at the same time, like I was like, maybe this is just the good time. There were all these fangirls writing in talking about how they were going to be the one to marry Jonathan Davis, and all these other girls weren't really fans, and Jonathan Davis is so hot, and I'm like, this isn't the point of Korn. Like no. Yeah, like I
that's more like a boy band.
Yeah, and it was, and like there were other letters besides these girls like, oh, I'm going to marry Jonathan Davis. There was like other letters talking about like, oh, I listen to the Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, and I also listen to bands like Limp Bizkit and Korn, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's time that I just stop. And that was really around the time, like right then. Stella, nope, not right now, please. That the sound changed and like the band changed. Like that's when Head left. Stella, not right now, please. And they did like an album a few years later with Skrillex, which is fine. Like cool. Experiment. Like try something different with music. But it was around the time where I was like, you know what? I've never been into Korn since. Like I will sometimes go back and I'll listen to Self-Titled, or I'll listen to Life is Peachy.
Yeah. They did come out with an album a couple years ago that sounded better. But...
Yeah, like Head has since come back to the band. So like Joey from Slipknot is now the drummer for Korn.
Right.
So like it's been a reinvention of sound again, and but yeah, like it, and something. But that also goes to show you can be super into a band and not like where they're going, and you know, you can like a band and not like everything they've ever done. Like
it's kind of tough because like at the same time you want bands to evolve in a sense.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty cool that Alice in Chains still sounds
like
very
Alice
similar.
in Chains. Yeah.
But like us, what I liked in the '90s, but not now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I haven't really gotten back into them. It's like it's cool that they kept their sound, and they do sound very similar. They're still putting out really good music of that era. But like if you've kind of moved on from that era, then I'm not sure what they should have done to make them more relevant without like ooh, this sound is different now. I don't like it.
I mean,
it must be a tough balance.
Yeah, and you said something that made a lot of sense to me and was very wise. You said, I believe in a band's right to change their sound, and I also believe in a fan's right to not like that change in the sound.
Yeah.
So
it's their music, so like I don't want to be like telling them like, yo, you can't make music like that. I'm like, well, it's their music, it's their band, so they can. It just means that I don't have to necessarily like their changes.
Mm-hmm. It's also and you know, like bands sometimes, you know, like they want to change the sound too. Like I've heard that Serge from System of a Down doesn't really want to do System of a Down music anymore.
I don't blame him.
That's why there hasn't been a new System of a Down album in what, like 13 years, whatever it's been.
No, I don't know. I don't pay attention.
Yeah. So and you know, the thought goes, well, you know, if he's tired of the sound, like he can go solo. They can get a new singer, but like there's complications.
I don't mind the instrumental part of System too much. That's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't like the vocals.
Okay. Yeah, and you know, you're free to have that opinion. Like some System fans would be like, no, System is a perfect band. Like, what's wrong with you? And
I don't think you care for the vocals either.
I like System of a Down got a little overplayed for me. Where we live, like you said, like every time you turn on the radio, there's a System of a Down song. Like
because I used to use the clock radio as an actual clock radio, and like I would wake up at the same time every day. Every time when my alarm would go off, it would be the same song.
Yeah, and they played that rock station where we live. Like played Toxicity crazy.
Yeah,
like all the singles from Toxicity, the album, not the song, the album. So like 3-4 songs off that album were in heavy rotation. So I was like, all right.
As far as Radiohead, my brother-in-law suggested that to me once because I was like, what modern bands are like Pink Floyd? And I guess it's kind of hard to ask because it depends on what era.
Yeah.
Because Bike certainly doesn't sound like Echoes, or certainly not Learning to Fly and all that stuff. But he said Radiohead, and I tried to like listen to Radiohead, and I never really got into them either.
But Fenella really makes a very good point. How about Radiohead?
That's why I said Radiohead.
Well, she's making the point of their stuff evolves in such an insane way, brilliant but insane, and like every single Radiohead album is a completely different album. And like I never followed Radiohead that much either, but like people who have.
That's weird. The comment showed up on your screen before on this screen.
Oh, Ariel's is the System song that did me in. that blew up here. Yeah, Aerials was all over the radio for us too. Aerials plus Toxicity, the single.
Yeah.
I want to say that's the song title is actually different, but like I think it's, they played a lot of Aerials, a lot of Toxicity, a lot of BYOB, and something else off Toxicity. But yeah, Aerials is kind of like their ballad song, and it's probably what Serge wants to do more musically. A song like Aerials, because I think like his solo album was more leaning toward that. But like every Radiohead album is a completely different album too. You played for me in Rainbows. Like we were in the car and you were playing in Rainbows.
I think it was when the album was new.
Yeah, and I had never heard it, and you had the display so it wouldn't say what it was, and you're like, do you know who this is? And I'm like, I'm getting Radiohead vibes, but it was weird because it didn't really sound like Radiohead. It was more like Pyramid Song. That's the only clue that I had is I had heard Pyramid Song, and I was like, okay, this is neat. This is like something different. And then like In Rainbows comes out, and it's like a whole album of like Pyramid Song. And Brandy, you might like, I think it's Pitchfork on YouTube. It's a brief history of Radiohead. It's like this animated video about every single Radiohead album, and every single new album, they talk about like their most controversial and yet most beloved album. And every single new album, they say their most controversial yet most beloved album. The
funny thing is, this guy a day or two ago just heard the song for the first time. If I Had $1 Million
by the Bare Naked Ladies, yeah.
And they played it at Universal because I was telling you, if you had $1 million, you don't have to buy cheap. You wouldn't have to buy the dog food you buy.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, but you could still buy it. You just buy more.
Yeah.
Like, what? And I thought for a long time that they might be giants.
Yeah.
Turns out no. But it kind of has that feel to it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out it's Bare Naked Ladies.
Yeah, but it's a funny song. It really is. I never really cared for Bare Naked Ladies, but like that's definitely a funny song.
Yeah.
Phenomenal Brandy says, I saw Radiohead on the In Rainbows tour, and it was mind blowing. Bare Naked Ladies played the fair here last year. They fell off. They fell off the stage, Brandy? Like the whole band fell off the stage? And then she says, Kid A is definitely my favorite Radiohead album. I would probably, I'm not a super big Radiohead fan. I would probably have to lean toward OK Computer like the rest of the Radiohead fans, yes.
Yeah.
Just No Surprises, really means a lot to me. It's like one of my personal favorite songs, and it's not only because it's Radiohead, it means a lot to me, and Camera Police also means a lot to me as well. It's not like I'm in love with all of OK Computer from start to finish. It's just Karma Police and No Surprises are definitely mean a lot to me. And she says no. Oh, their fame fell off. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they're playing a local fair. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
I should have realized that. Played the fair here last year. They fell off, and I was like, all I pictured was them on stage and the stage clapped and they all fell. But yeah, no, a big band that you say, hey, have you ever heard of Behringer Xenyx? Oh yeah, sure. Do you know they're playing local county fairs? They are?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, so I see it. So what does that say about bands that do Mardi Gras or play Disney or play
I always figure that they're kind of past their prime.
Yeah.
But it is tricky because they only have so many concert nights, and those bands are generally touring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they have to fit into their schedule them being in Florida on a night that works with the schedule of the theme park. And then, of course, they also have to schedule around other bands who also have slots. So they might be like, well, we can be on tour at this date. And like, oh, well, we already booked that band. So they probably have to turn down a lot of bands just because they can't fit the schedule.
And in fairness, at least for Mardi Gras at Universal, it's a lot of older bands like Bush, like Steve Miller, Sean Paul, like people have been around.
Pitbull every year.
Yeah, Pitbull. Like people have been around like 15 plus years. SeaWorld has concerts as well. Yeah. Disney has some concerts. Like I guess any theme park would have a concert like.
Yeah, Busch Gardens does too.
Yeah, at certain times of year. Phenomenal Brandon says, "OK Computer is a respectable showing." Also, yes. It's just like if you talk to like your casual like garden variety like Radiohead fan, like what's your favorite Radiohead album? Oh, OK Computer, like definitely. So it's kind of it's almost like the typical answer, where like something like Kid A or like is Hail to the Thief an album title? I think it is.
Yeah.
Or like some of the more rare album titles like will kind of show your true Radiohead colors. But yeah, like I was never huge on Radiohead. Like I pretty much know like their big singles, but it's funny like anybody who's like listened to like every album definitely has a favorite, and it typically is OK Computer or Kid A or something else. Yes, Hail to the Thief is an album. Yes, thank you, Brandy. Thank you for the Brandy. So yeah, like some people will say, yeah, Hail to the Thief is my favorite Radiohead album. Some people will say The Bends is my favorite Radiohead album. Some people will say Pablo Honey. But like it's always like a definite, solid, this one. Not any of these, this one. And it's funny how that goes because like every album is kind of different.
Yeah. I'm also going back to before I was saying with always trying to make the show better. I think that background and the changed logo and I'm also putting a lot of investment in lighting and microphones and stuff like that. Yeah. I think this image looks actually quite good.
Yeah, I'm happy with it too.
Come a long way. I have a problem with shooting stuff that ends up looking dark. Especially go back to like my older videos. I'm like, wow, and not like in mood or psychologically. It's literally like, I can't believe I looked at that, thought it was lit because it's like really, really dark. So what I did, and I might end up having to get like an official chroma key paint. I don't know, but instead of having this sheet hanging up, I went to the Home Depot and I actually painted the wall green.
Hooray!
Which actually looks just like about the right green on screen.
Yeah.
So that looks pretty cool. And then I was like, well, since Halloween started, let's Halloween up the show because we're both giant Halloween fans. So
yeah.
I look to add more Halloween elements in coming shows. So look for that. Hopefully, more chatties. But thank you to Brandy as always for being here and being active in the chat room.
Thank you for modding our empty chat room.
You did so well with the haters and the spammers and the trolls that they did like there's like, oh, I'm not going to mess with Brandy. Nope. I'm not even going to show up.
Mod of the year.
Yeah, you're the head bouncer. So,
she says, "Lol, I got to throw my wrench around,
So, are you going to do costumes for Halloween this time? Time at the bus. Oh, those slip-knot jumpsuits are long gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, I was gonna ask you, but I was like, I doubt he's got them.
No, no. Since Halloween Horror Nights is doing the '80s theme again, we figured since we invested a significant amount of money last year in our generic '80s hair metal rock costumes, why not?
Yeah, do it again.
So we're gonna just wear the same ones we had last year because those are pretty awesome. I mean, they were so awesome that my exact costume showed up in a scare zone in New York.
That is still hilarious to me, because like.
And remember, I bought the shirt and the pants separately.
Yeah, is it sold together or is it you have to buy?
I found it in two different stores.
Yeah.
I found the pants in one store and the shirt in another. I did actually buy a leather jacket, sort of greaser, but that was the only one they had, and it was. The thing about Halloween stores is they bring stuff back every year that's been on sale for several years in a row.
Oh, sure.
Whatever didn't sell, they bring back, and it looked leather, but obviously it was vinyl and or some sort of plastic, and it was I think it was stored somewhere hot and under a lot of other things, so it was hot and compressed, and when I pulled it out of the bag, all the vinyl or the plastic stuck to itself and ripped off of the material that they put it on, and it just was all torn up as soon as I took it out of the bag, and so I had to return it, and the manager couldn't locate another one like it, so I ended up going with that shirt, which was in the scare zone. If that jacket worked out for me, I wouldn't have matched the.
But isn't it also like down to the wig you bought too?
I don't remember.
I think
it was just a kind of generic wig, but I know.
But you bought the blonde wig, and I think that's what was on that character.
It might have been. But yeah, we're just gonna do that.
But it's still hilarious that like your exact outfit.
And I bought it right before they brought those before the preview night. So by the time I went to preview night and saw it, I'm like, what? So yeah, we're gonna do that. We're also gonna wear it to Brick or Treat again because that worked out really better than expected because of the what was it, the Graveyard Groove?
Yeah.
With the rockers, and we got the photos with them and all that. That was pretty cool. And then Frankenstein for the photo op with him. It also worked with the ridiculously large prop guitars.
And by the way, like I think it was just great timing. When we did our photo with Frankenstein's monster, they played a instrumental version of Pantera's Walk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like I mean, maybe like the AV guy saw us and was like, okay.
I mean, I'm sure it was a loop, but it's probably songs like that. But it was pretty cool. So anyway, just give you a moment to catch up because the live chat is always behind a little bit, and we always end it, and then we see a message, and we're like, oh, we would have replied to that, but oops.
Now is the time to say goodbye.
Bye.
Have a safe flight, Bodie.
Yep. I hope we see you. If not, I'm sure you'll have fun here, and also enjoy D23.
Yeah, and have a safe flight yourself, Brandy.
It seems like the thing to go to California. Kyle from View from the Cheap Seats just went over there as well, and just had his first time over in Knott's Berry Farm.
Oh, cool.
So, anyway.
Bye, everybody.